All right, so I just screamed at a very, very high volume into this camera for the last 10 minutes. I'm going to scrap that video. We're bringing it back down. Okay, we're bringing it down. Okay. Guys, I know that I make a lot of the autismo jokes and the spurging jokes and the professional jokes, and I make quite a few mistakes myself. I'm not a perfect person, but something that that all of you, everyone, every single one of you, need to understand, need to grasp, need to reel it back in. If someone didn't ask your advice, if someone didn't ask for your point of view, the vast majority of the time, if they didn't ask it, that means that they don't want your advice. That's how that works. So, this is the exact same thing for social media content creators. If I didn't ask for your advice, if I didn't seek you out, asking for your help, asking for your tips and your expertise, that very well mean that I don't want it. I'm not looking for it. So, we're going to calmly, this time around, we're going to discuss STFU. So, Huck and I did a video about a year back now about how to STFU and 10 rules of how you can be a more gooder person, someone that people want to be around. And I would say the number one piece of advice that I have of trying to find a girlfriend, trying to find friends, trying to find a friend group, trying to find a community, somewhere that you feel like you belong. You need to first start off by shutting the absolute fuck up. The vast majority of the time, if someone doesn't ask your opinion, if someone's not giving you feedback in a conversation, that means that they don't care. So, for anyone out there that doesn't know, you're not tracking, right? A conversation normally is going to take place when two people are making eye contact. You don't always have to be making eye contact, but that does help. That is a great starting point. Not only this, social cues that someone is interested in your conversation. Social cue number one, they're going to be facing you. If someone is very interested, if they are dedicated to that conversation and you guys are standing, let's say person to person, right? They're normally going to face their feet towards you. That is giving you a social cue that they are interested and that they are devoted to that conversation. They're giving you that one-on-one attention. So, if you are having a conversation with someone, or you think that you're having a conversation with someone, and the only feedback that you're getting back is, yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Damn, man, what happened next? Oof, yeah, that's any sort of those, those really short responses, right? If they are not giving you feedback in a way that shows to you that they listened to the last sentence, then they're more than likely they're not interested in what you're discussing. Now, this doesn't necessarily, this doesn't have to mean anything bad. The day isn't lost. The conversation isn't lost. What you're now trying to do. So I want you guys, if you've ever played video games, if you guys know video games, I want you guys to think like Bethesda games, right? You're thinking a dialogue wheel, all right? So at this point in time, if you're not getting social cues that show that that person is interested in this conversation, You have selected the wrong category in that dialogue tree. This does not, the day's not over. All right, this does not necessarily mean that the conversation's over, or this person might never be your friend, or you might never want to be around them again, or they never want to be around you ever again. This means that you selected the wrong dialogue tree and you're going all in on it. What you need to do, if you find yourself that the other person doesn't seem interested in this conversation, you have two options. You need to end that conversation right the fuck now, or you need to divert the conversation and you need to make it more about the person that you're talking to. So, one of the biggest mistakes that we make when we're talking to other people is we wind up talking too much about ourselves, or we wind up talking too much about a topic that the other person doesn't know about or they don't care about. So, what is the cheat code? What is the hack here? You want to start talking about the other person. You want to start asking them questions. Be intrigued in them. Now, if you know this, and you guys should know this about you, there's no better feeling than when someone is interested in you. When they're curious about your life and they're asking about you, and hey man, what did you think about this, and what did you do when this happened, what were your thoughts on this topic, right? Or hey man, how you doing, I heard about this, well what happened when this happened, what did you guys do next? Ask the other person questions about them. Stop making it about you. The vast majority of people, and I'm just being real with you guys, the vast majority of people don't care. All right, so if you are a no one, if you're bringing yourself into this space, you don't know anyone here, unfortunately, no one knows you, so no one gives a fuck about you. And that's okay. You have a clean slate. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. If you're coming in fresh, right, you have a clean slate, man, you can work this to your favor. Your best bet, however, is going to be shutting the fuck up and listening. Listen to the other people talking about themselves and pick up about what they're talking about and what you're looking for, all right? You're looking for a window of opportunity. So this is going to work for women that you're attempting to court, and this is also going to work for people that you're wanting to be friends with, all right? Now, obviously, you don't want to be a creep about this, right? So that it's balance. Now, this might take some practice. I fucked this up I don't know how many times in my early 20s. But you're doing your best. You want to find that dialogue tree, right? So this isn't like the video games, right? This isn't like the movies. You have to find that dialogue tree. You have to find and listen to the other person about topics that they like, topics that they're discussing, maybe even current events that they're interested in. You are sitting back and you're listening and you're waiting for an opportunity of something that you could chime in on, that you have something that you could bring to the table of, oh, hey man, I heard you talking about this. Well, I actually did this once upon a time. And then if you're getting, proper feedback, then you can go into that dialogue tree. So that is the biggest piece of tip, or the biggest piece of advice, the biggest tip that I can give of trying to court a woman or find friends or get into a new crowd, right? Is shutting the fuck up and then listening and waiting for your entry point. Okay? Once again, you're not being a creep about it. You're not being a weirdo about it. You don't want to wait too long, because if you wait too long, now you're going to be that quiet weirdo. All right? Some of the quietest guys I know, they'll just chime in every now and then, and what they do have to say, what they are bringing to the table is very to the point, it's concise, or it's fucking hilarious. So that's another thing that you want to look out for. And you can't really force comedy, right? But trying to wait for that moment, right? That you're waiting for that one part where you're like, is this the it is. It's timing, guys. All of this is timing, all right? So we're thinking military intelligence and that side of the house, right? We're talking of just social interactions, psyops, how the brain works. Now, if you guys have the opportunity, taking a psychology class in college, and I know you college, taking a psychology class, honestly, is not a bad idea. I actually learned a lot taking psychology classes when I was in college, and I'm really grateful that I did. This is the biggest thing that I'm really trying to nail home, though, is that you guys need to understand you are doing your best to not piss that person off as well. If they give you social cues, if they tell you of, hey, this is something that I don't like, or hey, this is something that, don't do this with me, right? Pushing buttons with people, it's risky, right? Now you can push someone's buttons, and if you go lightly, it's going to be seen as a ha-ha funny, right? And it might get under the person's skin, or it's like, you fucker. And you can give a little bit, back and forth. Men like being razzed and fucked with, and, you can, a little give and take. That's good, all right? You want so a little bit, right, is good. A little bit of pushback is good. Let's say, for instance, one of your buddies or one of the guys that you're training with or one of the guys that you're around, they screwed something up, right? A light little just like nudge, man, you kind of fucked that up. And like, yeah, no, fuck you too. A little bit, right? That can be seen as playful. That can be seen as fun. If you go too far with it, though, doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what kind of relationship you have, everyone has boundaries. And if you piss off someone enough, if you go past that boundary just enough, you might never see that person again. They might kick you out, tell you to kick rocks, go fuck yourself. That is another thing that is very important when it comes to making relationships, is you need to establish boundaries very early on in. So I didn't do this in my early 20s. I got burned a lot for it. And, it is what it is. We're learning. This is a learning process. You need to set boundaries with everyone in your life, everyone in your circle of hard don'ts, right? There's a few boundaries that I have with me and, anyone that comes over to my house, I'm like, hey, look, just so you guys are aware, you don't do this, you don't go here, you don't do this, and you don't do this. Simple as. You need to inform other people of your set of rules, your set of boundaries when it comes to you, because if they overstep those boundaries and you didn't make those known, you didn't make those clear, well, now you're going to have a little bit of confusion because it's like, oh, my bad, I didn't know, and now you're upset, but they didn't know, and now you have to play with that game. Just establish early on in anyone that you're around of, right off the bat, here's my boundaries. This is do's and don'ts, right? Let's say, for instance, my relationship with my wife. When we first started dating, I set boundaries very early on in of, hey, we will be dating this long before we move in together. We will be engaged this long, get married, and we'll be married this long before we have children. Setting those timestamps, setting those boundaries of, this is how it's going to be, and that's it, right? Very early on in our relationship as well, I informed my current wife of, hey, I go out in the mountains often. I train often. I go to the gym 5-6 times a week. You are going to have to accept that I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to continue doing this no matter what. I'm going to let you know that I'm doing this out of respect and common courtesy, but for the entirety of our relationship, if you are with me, this is what I will be doing, period. And I've kept those boundaries set in stone our entire relationship, and it has just been known our entire relationship of, this is what I do, this is my life, this is my lifestyle, and you are going to respect that, you are going to understand. If you want to come along with, you are more than welcome. I'm going to let you know when I'm leaving, when I'm going to come back, as a common courtesy. And that exact same rule scenario, right, that should be with men in your life as well. You should be letting them know what your ETA is. That is something that you should be informing every single man in your group or group chat, what have you, of, hey, I'm en route to location ETA this time. That should be a common courtesy. That should be across the board, no matter what. And this isn't even a training thing. This is just a life thing. If you are en route to link up with someone, or if you're en route to go to someone's house, you should be giving them ETAs to let them know the time window that they should be expecting you. And if that window changes by 15 plus minutes, then you need to be giving an update, letting them know that you will not be there at the first projected time and that you have had to push the time to the right by, X amount of minutes. Communication is huge. And I guess we could probably sum up the vast majority of this video to communication. Communication is huge, and you need to be communicating with the people in your life, because this is going to make your life significantly easier. And if you argue that at all, then, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, end of the day, right? If someone doesn't seem interested in what you're saying, or if the vibe feels off, right? Something that I have learned throughout my life is to trust your gut. If something seems wrong, if something seems off, usually it is. If someone seems like they're not interested in talking to you, if someone seems like they don't want to be around you, or maybe they even have ulterior motives, they probably do. Your gut feeling is usually right. Not always, but your gut feeling is usually right. Trust your gut, trust your mind, right? You know your own body, you know your own emotions. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't, push yourself out of your comfort zone, and that there's always going to be gray area. And that could be another tangent for another time. Gray area is huge, though. A lot of people, they think of everything in like a black and white, right? Like, oh, it's either this or it's either this. And it's like, well, I mean, you got space in between. It's not always this or that. So that is something that you guys want to be taking into consideration as well. So I'm going to get back to orders. Thankfully, I have a little bit of time to play with, so I can, start throwing in YouTube videos here and there. I don't know if you guys are tracking. I don't know if you guys have been following on Telegram and Twitter, and I even put it in my community post as well. But business has taken off in such a way that I'm struggling to keep up with it. I had to close down the store for a week, and within like an hour of me closing down the store, Google AdSense decided to delete my account, so I'm no longer monetized again. When it rains, it pours, right? Of course. I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys, supporting me and supporting the channel. It's been an interesting ride, to say the least. Sky's the limit. But I hope you guys can take a little bit of information from this. I hope you guys can take some actual, tangible of, oh, you know what, I like that part. And that's another thing with my videos and all content in general. You can cherry pick. In real life, you can cherry pick. Like, I like this, maybe not this. I like that, not this. You're cool, fuck you, you're cool. All right. I'm going to get back to orders. Appreciate you guys as always. ATS, Rifle and Mountain. I would say go hit up the website, but as of right now, it's closed. If you're watching this, I don't have my watch on me, but if you're watching this a week from post date, then, we're back online. But as of right now, we out. But anyway, appreciate you guys, and I'm Audi 3000. If you guys wrong.